Mr. Jovan. I enjoyed reading and discussing about Roblox with Jovan because I knew nothing about it. You might not believe it, but I'm not really a gamer. So I learned a lot about it. But anyway, these are Jovan's words. He says, I would like to thank my rhetoric teachers, Mr. Wade and Miss Maymay, who have been supporting me, my advisor, Mr. Joel, who has been giving me advice, my parents who have been supporting me on this journey, my tutor, Miss Sian, who proofread my thesis, my best friend, Nicholas Keene, who introduced me to Roblox. And his title is, My Child is Devolving. Through the power of imagination, Roblox becomes a dangerous playground. All right, let me get the timer set up. I'll tell you when you can start. All right, you can start when ready.
It was a beautiful day outside. Birds were singing, flowers were blooming, and 12-year-old Ethan Dallas just came home and hopped onto his favorite gaming platform, Roblox. While Ethan was playing, an unknown user approached him and befriended him. Little did he know that fateful encounter will seal his fate. Ethan's case is only one out of the countless of cases that have been filed against Roblox. And a myriad of people still don't realize how dangerous Roblox can be. The worst part, I'd wager that you, your children, or your grandchildren have Roblox in their personal devices right now. At this point, a small percentage amount of people realize how dangerous Roblox can be. Which begs the question, how well informed are you surrounding the dangers of Roblox? Let me tell you, this is only the beginning. Roblox was created on the 1st of September 2006 by David Baszucki and Eric Cassell, taking the concept of metaverse, a computer-generated universe mediated by virtual reality glasses and headphones, allowing the users to explore and experience different worlds. Roblox quickly became prominent within the community of gamers and game developers due to its focus on user-generated content. Throughout the years, Roblox kept evolving, growing the platform, introducing new trends and genres until it becomes the titan we know today. As of 2025, Roblox developed into the biggest video game platform with over 111.8 million daily active users, dominated by male users, with around half of them being 13 years or under. However, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Safety concerns had existed since the platform's release, but have only developed and surfaced recently. Since February 2025, there have been at least 27 lawsuits filed against Roblox regarding child safety. Before I continue, I would like to define several definitions. One common misconception is that Roblox is a video game. Roblox is, in fact, not a video game, but a video game platform where users can generate games, avatar items, game assets, and codes for other users to use or experience. Every user receives an avatar, the user's customizable character for them to use in-game. Every user can buy clothes and accessories using Robux, Roblox's universal currency obtainable by either purchasing with real money or gifted through microtransactions or Roblox Plus. In today's world, young people are highly likely to have Roblox in their personal devices while not knowing the lurking dangers within the platform, which is why this became an urgent problem and it is ruining young people's mental health as we speak. In the eyes of a young person, Roblox is just a fun platform. Everyone thinks that Roblox is just another kid's game. Parents believe that Roblox is a safe, secure, and kid-friendly platform. However, the victims know that Roblox is a dangerous playground. That is why young people should avoid playing Roblox, because Roblox is a predatory game playing on young people for exploitation. The first reason why young people should avoid playing Roblox is because it harms a young person's mental health in several aspects. The human brain starts to develop significantly during childhood. Exposure to Roblox games, however, has disrupted this vital process due to several factors. First of all, Roblox hindered the cognitive growth of an individual. Brain rot, referring to the cognitive decline and mental exhaustion experienced by an individual due to excessive exposure to low-quality materials, is a very common theme these days, especially among young people. Some good examples as content referred to as brain rot are Skibidi Toilet and Italian brain rots, both dominated the internet on 2023 and right now, respectively. These materials provide a dopamine rush or the feeling of reward to the brain, which, if used excessively, can cause anxiety during a lack of gadget availability, reduced sleep quality, shortened attention span, social withdrawal, distorted perception of reality, and depression. Researchers have established a link between brain rot and intellectual deterioration, with research currently underway to pinpoint the exact cause. One common technique used by game developers to make their games sought after is by using current trends or popular cultures in order to attract more players through game updates or new game releases. Still, Brain Rot became the biggest game on the platform with a peak player count of over 24 million users. Although brain rot is a general issue on the internet, excessive use of Roblox contributes majorly to the impairments of brain development in young people. Secondly, Roblox causes unhealthy addictions. Gaming addiction is already bad on its own, but another type of addiction that young people are vulnerable to lurks in Roblox: gambling addiction. Gambling is the activity of wagering money or items on a chance event in order to obtain a higher or lesser value. This activity releases dopamine when bets are won, which is why people are addicted in the first place. The worst part? Young people have not fully developed their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for impulse control and decision making. Gambling has a very common presence in gaming these days and is not regulated under gambling regulations. Take these games named Pet Simulator X and Grow Garden, for example. These games have loot boxes, a box of chance with known variable but unknown content, which is pushed onto players as a core gameplay and microtransactions. This shows that continuous exposure to certain games on Roblox can lead to unhealthy addictions. Finally, young people are more vulnerable to sexual content via other Roblox players. Pornography is easier to find nowadays, especially online. Interestingly, pornography has a similar mechanism to gambling, releasing dopamine, which, as stated before, can be detrimental to a young person's mental health due to the fact that they have not fully developed their prefrontal cortex, leaving them vulnerable to sexual content. Although advertised as a safe platform for children, pornography has a relatively huge presence in Roblox. Although hidden within the platform, virtual sex clubs have enough presence to almost get into one of Roblox's official events called The Hatch. Meep City was the biggest and a controversial game back in 2017, filled with online daters dressing up inappropriately. This shows that excessive use of Roblox can harm the brain by exposing minors to unregulated explicit content and pornography. The second reason why young people should avoid playing Roblox is because it contributes a negative impact to society. Gaming is like a double-edged sword. It can cut through stress while causing injury to one's social life. The case of Roblox, however, goes deeper in many ways. First of all, Roblox creates opportunity for sexual predators. No one is a stranger to malicious users in the internet, such as predators. Online child sexual abuse often leads the victims to experience depression, fear, anxiety, PTSD, and etc., which can be catastrophic for young person's overall mental health. One main issue on Roblox is that few players are aware of the lurking predators that is roaming around communities, especially in virtual sex clubs. Users have managed to find ways to bypass the policy and go undetected within the platform. Other than playing inappropriately, these users seek to exchange contact information through other social media platforms. Besides the ineffective moderation against these predators, these 30-year-olds are actively roaming free on the platform. CEO of Roblox, David Baszucki, does not see this as a problem, but rather as an opportunity. Roblox's attorney stated that Roblox is choosing to profit over protecting its consumers by allowing predators to access, communicate, and groom underage children. Predatory behavior is a problem in Roblox and will continue to be a problem until the CEO will acknowledge it as thus. Secondly, Roblox steals human productivity. Many studies show that gaming causes people to lose productivity. Research suggests that young people are far more likely to choose instant gratification and dopamine rush over monotonous and academic challenges. The effects of gaming are already concerning, but Roblox is significantly more distracting than your average video game. Roblox is a sea of digital pleasure. Considering Roblox's model of using user-generated content, this platform hosts hundreds of varieties of games as well as numerous genres, creating a never-ending cycle of new and interesting experiences. For comparison, in 2024, an average Minecraft player spends around half an hour per day in Minecraft, a similar gaming platform to Roblox, while an average Roblox player spends around 2.5 hours per day in Roblox. Losing productivity is a probable consequence, but Roblox only exacerbates the issue. Finally, Roblox causes young people to lose touch of reality. This claim considers two main aspects: hyperreality, a pseudo-reality created by technology, and identity confusion, the state where an individual struggles to develop a coherent sense of self or personal identity. When a game takes the concept of metaverse, these aspects are bound to appear. As a platform that takes the concept of metaverse, Roblox game developers have done a phenomenal work on creating experiences and avatar items similar to the real world. Roblox also provides their users the freedom to customize their own avatar. These immersions, especially over long periods, can cause young people to lose their sense of self and interest to the real world. Although other games may include similar avatar creation and realistic experiences, very few offer the same extent of hyperrealism that Roblox features. A final reason why young people should avoid playing Roblox is because it has a weak security system that is insufficient for keeping its users safe. Video games and social media platforms tend to monitor their user reports and activities in order to keep their platform and users safe. Roblox does implement their own security system. However, this system differs greatly due to its inferiority. First of all, Roblox's moderation is ineffective due to an AI-driven moderation. Social media and gaming companies are heavily relying on AI, considering its ability to filter faster and more effectively than human reviews. However, an AI-driven moderation strictly analyzing communications and behavioral patterns of online users often lead to undetected violations and unfair suspensions. Roblox's moderation performs poorer than similar platforms. Roblox uses a hybrid system of AI detection and human reviews, mostly using AI. Not only that moderation is trickier due to the platform's freedom to create and innovate, Roblox shows reluctance into improving their more accurate human moderation. Roblox deems AI acceptable to keep its users safe, but the continuous cases of errors prove otherwise. Secondly, Roblox's bans are easily bypassable. When you break a platform's terms of service, sanctions follow, usually in the form of a ban, locking you out of the platform whether temporarily or permanently. Avoiding and bypassing a ban is something common, which is why most platforms implement strict banning systems. Roblox, however, has a dissimilar case. Not only do users usually have multiple accounts they can easily switch to in order to bypass an account ban, users can create an account very easily in a short period amount of time. Essentially, Roblox's attempt to implement bans upon rule breakers leave any experienced bad actors unperturbed. Finally, Roblox's moderation is easily exploited by manipulating the system. A wise man once said, "With great power comes great responsibility." Authority is only given to a specific number of people who are reliable in the eyes of a leader in order to avoid abuse of power. However, what happens if that power falls into the wrong hands? Mass reporting, the action of reporting a subject or object in a large number in order to trigger a sanction. A study by Gleason revealed that the number of reports is directly proportional to the severity of the suspension. The most famous case of this exploitation is called the Crosswords incident, where users got terminated upon joining a fake game called Crosswords. Hence why an easily exploitable moderation is not user-friendly and does not keep consumers safe, rendering the system insufficient for its purpose. Some might argue that the addition of parental controls and age verification have made the platform safe. However, these features are rather ineffective and have made the platform even more dangerous. Parental controls allows parents to set content maturity restrictions and chat age restrictions to their child's account. However, not only do Roblox game developers can set the age limit of their own game, users can still be led onto other platforms for further communication means, rendering the system useless. Every Roblox user is required to verify their age by submitting an official document or through an AI-driven facial age estimation feature in order to be able to chat in their own age group. Not only that, this will undoubtedly create errors, predators have become even more undetectable with an easier time choosing their victims. With the intention of reducing potential predators on the platform, this feature has invited them to be even more active with a more direct route, to communicate with vulnerable age groups. Some people also argue that Roblox is an excellent platform for education and critical thinking practices, that one may believe the risk is worth taking. Although educational, problem-solving, and critical thinking games are present in Roblox, the numbers says otherwise. Similar to how the amount of customers often reflect a restaurant quality, the amount of active players is directly proportional to the content and quality of a game. However, when approaching educational and high-quality games on Roblox, this statement directly contradicts reality. Roblox masterpieces such as Arcane Odyssey and Combat Initiation failed to make into the most popular charts of Roblox. Statistics show that educational games are mostly ignored and left in the dust. The problem with educational games is that the education aspect acts as an external pressure that removes the player's sense of freedom, which in turn makes the player lose motivation, which is why educational games are never popular in the first place. Although less harmful games are available on the platform, users actively pass them over for the more harmful games with often underserved, higher user ratings, leaving the constructive games left behind. Throughout this thesis, we have explored reasons to why Roblox is dangerous to young people, beginning with the harm of brain rot, addiction, and sexual content towards an individual present in Roblox games. Then, we discussed the harmful impact to society by creating opportunities for predators, stealing human productivity, and luring young people to lose touch of reality. Lastly, we examined the ineffectiveness of Roblox's moderation due to an AI-driven moderation being easily bypassable and effortlessly manipulated and exploited. Now, allow me to uncover Ethan's fate mentioned at the start of this speech. After befriending Ethan, the user encouraged Ethan to turn off parental controls and move their conversations to Discord. What followed were inappropriate sexual topics, explicit exchanges, which led to blackmail, eventually leading to Ethan's suicide on April 2024. A devastating and heartbreaking loss of an innocent child, which could have been avoided had Roblox acknowledged their predatory problem prior to this unnecessary incident. Ethan's story is only one out of the numerous of cases of multitude of categories that has happened, is happening, and will happen again. So what does this mean for all of us, especially for young people? As someone who has been active on the platform for 8 years, yes, I agree that Roblox is fun. Yes, I agree that Roblox is useful. Yes, I agree that Roblox is the future. But the future should not be out of sight and out of mind. Do not remain blind to the ever-growing dark side of Roblox. Wake up, open your eyes, and see for yourself. One foul side of humanity that breathes in and infests presumably safe spaces. I have shed light on the dark side of Roblox. Now choose wisely. Walk to the bright side, or crawl to the shadows of Roblox's obscurity. My name is Nicholas Jovan, and thank you for listening.
Thanks. Good job, Jovan. Our panelists today are Mr. Booty and Mr. Mr. Moon. Let's start with Mr. Booty.
Hey, Jovan, thank you so much for presenting your thesis. It's such a blessing, to see how you present your thesis here. Sometimes I thought that you have a difficulty with words, but looking at you today and you can present this kind of thing, that's really remarkable.
Thank you, Mr.
So thank you to bring this up. Yeah, even you yourself is a Roblox player. as you mentioned, for 8 years. So it's probably like in fourth grade,
Oh, whichever grade I was on 2018.
2018.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm too lazy to do the math right now.
Yeah. So my first question is, how do you come from a person who love to play it? I mean, 8 years is not a short time, right? And become a person who, be very precautious about it.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So how do you come from a person who love to play, and then you find that, hey, there's a bad things, there is a dark side about Roblox.
So thank you for the question. Oh, I used to be just playing Roblox as a clueless child, and then when I searched on YouTube, I started hearing these bad, bad cases happening in Roblox, and then my hatred towards Roblox starts growing when they started to make really bad decisions. For example, age verification, or like what else? Removing classic faces on their avatars, on our avatars. So yeah, that's where my transformation began.
Okay, so you're saying about something happening in 2000. It starts from 1992, right? And I mean Roblox, the idea, and then it
Pretty
goes
much.
to 2007, and there's also changes in 2017. When it comes to you, which is you start playing in 2018,
18.
right? And then could you find like you yourself also lure into those kind of things, like you mentioned addictions, and also like yeah, child predator, those kind of things?
Believe it or not, I did. I have two stories I will tell you right now. First of all, back then was around like 2020 or 2021. There was this one game, as mentioned in my speech before, named Pet Simulator X. I was active in it until I realized this is just a gambling fest. So yeah, that's where I quit, but that's also where I developed a gambling mindset that gambling is fun. That is why if you see my phone right now, you would see a couple of gacha games that I'm actually quite addicted to. So yes, I'm one of the victims. Second of all, luckily I did not fall victim to predatory behavior. However, it was way closer than I thought it would be. So I used to play this one Roblox game called World Zero. It's just a monster killing game, not too popular, averaging around like a couple thousand Roblox players. So one day I decided to join a guild in order to participate in a guild season. Basically, whichever season guild is the most active for one, the experience, and second, the rewards. Not a day later, I received a predator alert from another that another guild leader is engaging on inappropriate conversations towards its members. Luckily, it was not mine. And by the way, it was supported with screenshots.
Okay, thank you for sharing your stories. So please give applause. Okay, so what is the age appropriate, do you think, for Roblox? Do you think like that's the first? That's the questions first. Try to answer.
Well, first of all, I would say at least 13 would be recommended because on out of primary school, you start to be able to think for yourself. But I do recommend that you still have parental supervision with you.
Mm-hmm.
After that, rough 17, you should be fine because by that time you're an adult, you can think for yourself.
Okay. So do you think adult can also, avoid those kind of things, the bad things that you mentioned?
No, but at least they already know for themselves.
So it reduces the risk.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, why not instead of preventing young people to play Roblox, we as a persons who already develop on our brains, emotions, accompany them and working besides them, for good using this Roblox. Some, like programming are also using Roblox as a chance, to build coding and those kind of things. How do you respond to that?
So you're saying that they should have parental supervision with them. Well, I will not deny that full parental supervision is enough to be able to explore Roblox. However, what I mean by full parental supervision is that knowing what games they are playing, including entering the game to see if it's a virtual sex club or not, because as mentioned in my thesis, these virtual sex clubs are sometimes disguised as other Roblox games, and knowing who are they friends with and what are they playing, essentially committing a breach of privacy, which not everyone here can agree. Although highly unlikely, it is possible.
So some coding school, they have this program using Roblox. How do you respond to that?
I will not deny the fact that I did also, there was a time period where I did learn Roblox. And, well, to be fair, they're like making games of their own. They don't really like
Playing the
enter
game.
enter and play Roblox themselves. However, if it means introducing Roblox to them, I would like to ask you to think twice. Developing in Roblox, I have no objections of when schools teaches students to develop games on Roblox. What I have objections is when they introduce Roblox and encourage these children to play.
Okay, thank you. I think that's enough from me.
All right, let's move on to Mr. Moon. Go ahead.
Hello, Jovan. Yeah. So, first of all, I want to apologize. Sorry for my being late. I really respect what you've been doing, and I have been working with other students who are working on it. So, my coming late did not show a lot of that respect, and I
It's all
apologize
good.
for that. First of all, I want to say I really respect your honesty, your transparency. You've included your personal stories. You haven't shied away from any of the challenges or from even including some of your own background in what you're talking about here. I have a few questions as a parent. As I was listening to what you said, as a parent, I'm already concerned about letting my kids do anything like that. And they sometimes ask me about playing Roblox. And before reading your thesis, before today, and before any of the things that you've been talking about, I didn't see any problem. Oh yeah, kids get to make their own games. I didn't realize so much was going on until seeing your thesis. So thank you for that. I do want to ask you a couple of questions to help me clarify. So you mentioned brain rot. You also mentioned that brain rot is very common, and that brought up a question for me about in that respect, how is Roblox unique versus, say, YouTube, social media, all the brain rot that is out there, all the ridiculousness that is out there. And sometimes people just want to have fun and just kind of relax or whatever. How would you respond to, Roblox being a unique source of brain rot that we need to worry about from that perspective?
Now, as I stated before, researchers have not established a link between brain rot and intellectual deterioration. However, have not established the exact cause. So, even though maybe Roblox game developers only use brain rot elements in order to boost their game, I want you to think a little further than that. If they are introduced to brain rot by Roblox, what is stopping them from moving from Roblox to YouTube? That is where my concern is. And we still don't know if brain rot in Roblox, we still don't know the exact cause, and we still don't know if brain rot in Roblox can actually contribute to intellectual deterioration. But again, we're talking about the biggest video game platform, influenced by the biggest video media platform.
All right, I appreciate that. And then you said what's going to stop them from moving from Roblox to YouTube. Are you suggesting that YouTube is even worse than Roblox?
Well, not in some sense. I'm just pointing out that YouTube is the source of the brain rot. And Roblox is just, using it and boosting brain rot.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. And then I want to move on to your topic about human productivity. With so many distractions and forms of entertainment, it seems like the world isn't really concerned about the loss of productivity to forms of entertainment. It's multi-billion-dollar industry, just to come home and turn on my TV, for example, and just watch anything. Why should people see the loss of productivity as an actual problem while it's being promoted in so many industries?
Good question. Thank you for the question, by the way. Well, it is a little outside of my scope. However, if everyone starts to lose productivity, society will not move at all. And that can be catastrophic for future generations. That's the best I can tell.
And then my final question, you mentioned the sexual content, the pornography, definitely an issue with the internet these days. How can Roblox, as well as other online platforms, how can they keep kids safe? I know you mentioned with this specific one, the CEO doesn't even seem to care about that and maybe even endorsing it. But what are some steps you would recommend for them actually keeping people safe? Because that's been a big topic in, like Australia recently raised their social media age up to 16. And so what are some things that they can be doing to keep kids safe?
From Roblox's end?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first of all, improve the moderation. It is rather, garbage, as how I've been talking bad about it. It's because it is rather ineffective because of how easily it is bypassable. And then, well, that's the first, the obvious solution. And then from Roblox's end, I think that's really it. But again, not only on AI moderation, on their more accurate human moderation. Because as you can see, AI moderation is just not working. From our end, we can educate young people to be cautious about these explicit content. And yeah, that's basically about it.
And I think just a little follow-up that I thought that'd be the last question, but where you mentioned moderation, there's also the idea of parental guidance. Do you think parental guidance is actually a thing that's happening in a lot of families? Is that something that companies can hide behind?
Well, first of all, sorry that it is not really in my research scope. However, I do have an answer for that. Now, I should say that parental guidance is very, very important within families because this harmful content is just not possible to wipe out from the internet. However, this cannot be an excuse for corporates to just let this harmful content be. At least they should have some effort, not just some, major effort to prevent this harmful content from reaching young children.
All right, Jovan, I have a few questions, some that came from your peers and some that I'm just making up myself. But it seems to me that you've talked a lot about the dangers of Roblox, and it just seems to me that the things you're saying are the dangers of the internet, right? I mean, it's just the dangers of letting your kids out there on the internet with social media and Roblox or any other thing. How is Roblox different or worse than just allowing your kids to be on the internet at all?
Well, thank you for the question. First of all, Roblox is way easier to access than your average internet. The internet, you still need to find the website, bypass the firewall somehow if it's blocked, and other stuff, more complicated stuff that I probably won't understand. Roblox, you just install it and you can randomly encounter it. And before you ask how big Roblox is, it's just a couple hundred megabytes, which is like barely any in today's standards.
Okay. And you mentioned there were, I think at the beginning, you said there's 27 lawsuits. Are these all underway or have some of them been resolved? And so one question I have is, are those lawsuits being successful or is Roblox being acquitted of all these charges?
To my knowledge, they're still pending as they are still in the source that I'm still using. But I should also clarify the fact that these 27 lawsuits are only from a couple of America's state attorneys and one law firm. I don't know the exact number of the amount of lawsuits that exist in the whole entire world. Because remember, this is only from one law firm, not two, only one. And just consider the amount of law firms there are in the whole entire world.
Okay. And so if I assume that, I'm trying to assume something, but I already forgot what I was assuming. Oh, yeah. So what about, the way you describe Roblox, it sounds like the people who have Roblox accounts, they create their own games, right? And they share them with people. Is that how it works? So have you created a Roblox game before?
No, I have not.
Okay.
But in some sense, that is how it works.
Okay. Is there any chance of holding the developer themselves responsible for, these violations that you're talking about, whether it's predatory behavior or other things? Can you hold those guys accountable, or do we have to sue Roblox themselves?
Now, I will say that they are the source of where this is going. But again, Roblox could have prevented it. And if you ask about accountability, yes, Roblox is actually asking accountability with these perpetrators. Now, this might sound a little bit against myself, but as of recently, I've heard that Roblox have started to send cease and desist against these virtual sex clubs creator. I still don't know how effective is it going to be, but yeah.
And so these developers who are part of the Roblox community, do we even know who they are? I mean, do they have real information, or do they create fake accounts? You know what I'm saying? Can you
That's
really
where the
catch
problem
them
lies.
anyway?
That's why I said I don't know how effective is this going to be.
Okay. Okay. And so, let's see. What would you say if you have a younger brother who's playing Roblox? What do you tell him?
Simple. Uninstall that thing right now, or I'll send you out of the house. And yeah, basically something like that.
And, sometimes we have, for example, here in Indonesia, there are certain things that are banned, right? Like Vimeo. If I use that without a VPN, I can't use even legitimate Vimeo videos, right? Can governments ban Roblox, and should they?
Yes, if you think about banning Roblox, that is the current, most effective and most direct way to solve this problem. And they should, or not, our next generation might be doomed.
Okay. And so someone else is asking, how about video game influencers, particularly maybe an influencer who is promoting something like Roblox? Should they be held accountable?
Well, I cannot say that all of them should be held accountable. I respect some influencers that cover some Roblox masterpieces, such as the ones that I mentioned in my thesis. But the ones that are rather inappropriate and influence brain rot, they can be held accountable. But again, it just comes down to freedom to create videos.
Okay. And one final question. You've described Roblox to us and how dangerous it is and all of that. Is there any similar platform that gives you that kind of ability to create games and share them with others, but has the proper security and the proper, just one that you can recommend that doesn't have these problems you've talked about?
To my knowledge, no. I only know two platforms similar to Roblox, which, first of all, is Minecraft that I mentioned before. Although moderation is strictly only relying on we don't really call these games, we call these server creators. They only really take action when servers are violating Minecraft's terms of service. And the second one is a watered down version called Polytoria, and I have basically no other information other than the fact that it is basically a watered down Roblox.
Okay. Thank you. That's it. Time is up. Thank you, Jovan. All right, so that's the end of today's thesis presentation.